Welcome to the 2020 Small Business Celebration Virtual Awards event. Please welcome President and CEO of the Greater Kansas City Chamber of Commerce, Joe Reardon.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first ever virtual Small Business of the Year Celebration Awards Luncheon. You know, it's been a challenging year for all of us, and we know you're being pulled in a lot of different directions these days, so thank you very much for spending some of your lunchtime with us during this virtual event, and an exciting event I think it's going to be for all of us. We're here today to celebrate small businesses in Kansas City. Small businesses make up more than 70% of the members of our chamber, and we know they're the economic backbone of Kansas City and our entire country. And this year, COVID has been especially tough for small businesses. At the Top 10 CEO panel 2 weeks ago, our finalists shared how they've been able to survive, navigate, and even thrive in some cases during these past 8 months. We've been honored to help and support all of them and so many other small businesses across Kansas City during this pandemic as we all keep moving forward together. Today, we get a chance to celebrate small businesses in Kansas City. We'll announce the 2020 Mr. K Business of the Year, and also we'll announce the winners of the Diverse Small Business of the Year, the Legacy of Kansas City Award, the Emerging Business of the Year, and the 2020 Weida International Small Business Award. But before anything else, I want to thank our incredible sponsors. As you all know, their support makes this all possible, even during the toughest of times. So thanks to our 2020 Small Business Programming presenting sponsors, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City and Evergy. And special thanks to the presenting sponsor of today's virtual awards event, the Ewing Marion Kauffman Foundation. So please now join me in welcoming Wendy Gillis, the President and CEO of the Kauffman Foundation.
Thank you, Joe. The Kauffman Foundation is once again excited to be a presenting sponsor for this year's Small Business Celebration Awards Luncheon to honor the best of Kansas City's small businesses. While our top 10 finalists may serve different customers and clients, and they may provide different services, they all started the same way. Someone had a great idea. And that's the first step in the entrepreneurial journey, something we're passionate about at the Kauffman Foundation. Being an entrepreneur means having a vision for new and better ways of doing things that make our lives better. Our guest speaker today knows all about that. David Sachs is a former journalist, author, and entrepreneur. He's always worked for himself and has written about entrepreneurs of every kind, from deli owners to hairstylists to rural entrepreneurs and more. He's the author of a number of books, including Save the Deli, The Tastemakers, The Revenge of Analog, and most recently, The Soul of an Entrepreneur, which shatters the myth of the Silicon Valley startup, something we know a little bit about here in Kansas City. Please welcome David Sachs.
Hi, I'm David Sachs, your speaker. So I'm a journalist and a writer, and I recently wrote a book called The Soul of an Entrepreneur, Work and Life Beyond the Startup Myth, which looked essentially at the deeper meaning of entrepreneurship in the world and the deeper meaning of entrepreneurs. And I had a lot of interactions and conversations with the Kauffman Foundation. And so back in the late winter, right around the end of February, the folks at the foundation and the Kansas City Chamber of Commerce reached out to me to see if I would speak at the Small Business Awards, which were going to happen in May. And of course, we were all sort of talking about it in a way that was assuming that everything would be wonderful. I was planning the ribs I was going to eat in Kansas City. Obviously, that didn't come to pass. And so here we are virtually talking. I do not have any virtual ribs. This is a lunchtime banquet. So in order to get the full Small Business Awards experience, I want everyone to go get a piece of chicken, microwave it for about a minute longer than you have to, and then drape some sort of sad roasted vegetables on it and take a few bites of that in front of you, and maybe try to sit at a big round table in a banquet hall. But you know, it's still a pleasure to talk to you and a pleasure to speak to so many entrepreneurs and small business owners today. This is a strange time for a small business award. We are in the middle of a global pandemic. And with that pandemic has come a tremendous recession that has impacted small businesses around the world in a way that I don't think any of us have seen. I mean, there is blood on the streets for small business. There is a statistic that I read yesterday which said that there are 15% fewer small businesses in Kansas City than at the start of the year, and the year isn't over. Many of us have known companies, stores, businesses that have closed, that have gone bankrupt, that have decided to shut down. And many of us can just look at our own balance sheets and see the impact of the past 7 months on what has been business unusual. All of this, of course, is happening in a greater context of a societal upheaval in the United States around economic and racial inequality, marches, protests, and of course, approaching a presidential election unlike any we have seen, and that is literally the last thing I'm going to say on that topic. It's a moment of tremendous uncertainty for small business owners and for entrepreneurs. It's a tough time to be an entrepreneur. Honestly, actually, I like to say it's a tough time to be a human. So this begs the question, which the Chamber asked me when we were planning out the talk last week. Where does the entrepreneur fit into this? What's their role in Kansas City, in the United States, and in the bigger world as we start to renew and rebuild after the pandemic and even now in the midst of it? I actually want to start with a question that I'm going to ask you, and I want you to reply in the chat. I can't see the chat, but I want this to be a conversation between you because there are, I think, 500 of you out there watching this today. And the first question I'm going to ask you is, what is an entrepreneur? How do you define it? Who is an entrepreneur? What is the thing that makes an entrepreneur who they are? I think we think of examples most readily of wildly successful and brilliant people. Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, inventors and innovators, or someone like Henry Ford, or even an entertainment figure like Jay-Z, right? Locally, someone like Mr. Ewan Marion Kaufman. But I tend to think of it as a much broader definition, and that's actually the original definition. In the 18th century, early 18th century, there was a French-Irish economist called Richard Cantillon, and he wrote really the first sort of essay about what an entrepreneur was. And he was studying, the broader economy. And he said, there are two types of people in the economy. There are those who work for fixed wages, someone who has a job and a boss and gets a salary every 2 weeks or whatever. And there's the rest, and the rest are entrepreneurs. An entrepreneur, Cantillon wrote, was anyone who worked for unfixed wages on their own terms. They decided what they were going to work at, where they were going to work. They accepted the risk of that, the risk of not knowing where the next paycheck was going to come from, in the hope that perhaps they would do better tomorrow. He said that there were two things that defined all entrepreneurs and that linked them all together. And that was freedom, the freedom to do the work they wanted to do, to go into the business they wanted to go into and conduct it in the way that they felt fit. And the risk that came with that, the risk that it wouldn't work out, that their life and their savings and their schemes would, not come to pass. And he said this encompassed everyone. It didn't matter what industry you're in or how successful you were, from the poor beggar in the street to the itinerant farmers selling their vegetables at the market, to wealthy merchants who were sending ships across oceans or owned great tracts of land. They all bore the risk and they all had the freedom and they all worked for themselves. In Kansas City, entrepreneurship and small business includes both innovators, like firms that are part of the nominees today, like Signal Theory, which does cutting-edge branding work, or Amply Media, who puts out incredible digital content. It includes multi-generational family firms like Traders Insurance, as well as neighborhood bakeries and coffee shops like the delicious-looking Messenger Coffee, which is making me salivate as I looked at this right before lunch. Entrepreneurship in Kansas City and small business are businesses that trade internationally, and those that only serve a couple blocks around where they are. They're companies that are a couple months old, and they're companies that are centuries old. So here's the main question. Why do they matter? And when I say they, I guess I mean you. Why do you matter, especially amidst all this? What are the reasons that we should care and celebrate and work to protect and boost entrepreneurs and small business in Kansas City and elsewhere? I'm going to give you 3 reasons that I think, and I think this applies especially today. The first one, and the most obvious, I guess, is economic. Jobs, money, more jobs. As we said in the opening remarks, entrepreneurship is an engine of job growth. Half of Americans are employed by a small or medium-sized business. Half of the GDP comes from it. Kansas City is made up of businesses like this. Over 50% of the companies in Kansas City employ fewer than 4 people. We're talking about the classic mom and pop or the immigrant business with 1 or 2 families who scrape together some savings and own a motel or a restaurant or a dry cleaner. All businesses, from the biggest corporations to these mom and pops, start small, but all of them also can grow. There's a great example I love when I was reading the biographies of the nominees today, and that's Pro Athlete. It's 1987. Wes and Judy Hedrick, a couple, go in to get varsity patches sewn on their kid's jacket at a sports store. But the sports store say, no, we don't do that. We don't have time for that. No. It's going to take too long. It'll take a few weeks. We don't bother with that. And so, like many entrepreneurs, out of frustration for a service that they couldn't find, they decide to open their own sports store where they'll sell anyone's patches on any jacket. And the store grows. And, in the 1990s, it moves into online sales, and they start specializing in baseball gear, bats, gloves, other stuff, athletic wear. The small store opens up into a bigger one. It builds into a warehouse, then a bigger warehouse, and then a campus. Tens of thousands of dollars in sporting goods sales in those early years grow into millions and more today. It's a family business that today employs 60 people and is sort of a national institution if you've ever held a baseball bat or a glove. Today, we know that we are seeing record unemployment across the United States and certainly in the region. And despite the fact that Pro Athlete lost 90% of its business initially in the pandemic, they made a vow very publicly to keep those 60 people employed because they realized that the economic benefit they had is just more than what fits into the bottom line and the profits of the company. It's their role in Kansas City in the lives of its residents, right? The salaries they pay those 60 people pays for the rent and the mortgages of the homes that those people live in. It allows those people's children to go to school, whether in person or virtually. It provides the tax base that funds those schools and the roads and the hospitals and the other infrastructure that we need today. Not only that, but the work that a company like Pro Athlete does supports other small businesses with it. Baseball teams, stadiums, suppliers of baseballs, because you can't have one without the bat. Not a huge baseball maven, as you can tell. This is the basis of the economy. When we talk about the role of small business, we're often talking about venture capital returns and stock market valuations, but that only applies to a tiny percentage of small businesses. We're talking about entrepreneurs and small business as the backbone of the everyday economy. And that's that sort of principal benefit. I want to tap into a bit of audience interaction again. In the chat room, I want you to think about what is the most important economic impact of your own business? What do you think it is? What do you think the biggest impact your business has economically in the region or in your industry or just in what you're doing? Please share it with everyone else and see what the answers say, because I'm sure they're all going to be quite different. But here's the thing about entrepreneurship. It's not just about money. It's not an economic thing. I think this is a fundamental misunderstanding of what entrepreneurship is. It's not just a unit of economics. It's a very human way of interacting with the world through commerce. And that ties up all sorts of different things about people's ideals and values and their history and where they're coming from. And one of the things I want to talk about today, which is a big part of that, and doesn't necessarily seem as though it's something that you would think about with entrepreneurship, is the notion of justice. You and Marion Kaufman, the founder of the Kaufman Foundation, obviously, a great Kansas City entrepreneur and philanthropist, really believed in the power of entrepreneurship to transform lives and a society. He saw entrepreneurship as a key part of the American experiment, of the American dream, of its ideal. And that he truly believed that everyone who had an idea for a business or to go to work for themselves should have the equal opportunity to do that and the resources to do so. And that seems as though it's true. But the reality is that many entrepreneurs do not see that as accessible. There's a statistic that I found staggering when I was doing the research for my book a couple of years ago. And it was talking about venture capital funding, which is what is often used to measure a rate of entrepreneurship in a specific area. And it talked about the venture capital stats for what companies get funded. And I was astounded to find that the number of companies that were founded by women or founded by minorities that got venture capital funding was less than 3%, even 2 years ago. That is a fractional amount that does nothing to show what those groups represent in the population. And it points to tremendous barriers. There are barriers to entrepreneurs who are at a disadvantage, entrepreneurs that are minorities, women, people of color, LGBTQ, veterans, even people in rural areas, that are both real, tangible ones and sort of softer, unseen barriers. They have less access to financing, less access to venture capital, less access to private equity, less access to loans in order to grow and capitalize their business. They're often undercapitalized compared to businesses that are owned by sort of the majority, let's say. And they also face a certain subtle discrimination. Who here is a minority entrepreneur and has had someone walk into their business and ask to speak to the owner when they're speaking to you and sort of doesn't believe it? This happens more often than I think most of us realize. The effect of that, especially now during the pandemic, is real and tangible. In the first 3 months of the pandemic, there is an estimate by the National Bureau of Economic Research that something like 40% of Black businesses in the United States have closed. Think of that. That's almost half the Black businesses in the country have been forced to close just at the start of this pandemic because they're undercapitalized, because they don't have the resources. That is an extinction event for a generation of entrepreneurs in a community. So when you think about the protests that occurred this summer across the nation and around the world about law enforcement injustice, there's a deeper story there, and a lot of it points to economic injustice. I want to know, and this is a point of discussion for the comments now, are you an entrepreneur that has faced barriers based on who you are, based on what you look like, based on your gender, based on your background, based on the fact that you may have come from another country? Share those stories and talk about something you did to overcome that. Now, that's the question of injustice. And yet, it's entrepreneurship that actually holds the hope for justice because it allows individuals, regardless of who they are still, to seize on an opportunity, to break down barriers, and to do it without asking a boss's permission, without asking if they're allowed to do it by a superior. And when it works, it allows people from those groups to close the staggering wealth gaps. To close the wealth gaps. Sorry, my Zoom kicked me off for a second. To right the imbalance of economic injustice. There was a great statistic that I read, well, a sobering one, which says that the average Black family in America has 1/10 the wealth of the average white family. But when that Black family is a business owner, when they're an entrepreneur, the gap goes to 1/4. And when I think about entrepreneurs like that, I think about the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs in the United States, which are minority women, Black women, Latino women, Asian American women, Native American women, immigrants, people of color. They're women like Thala Cherry of Cherry Co., who's a Black woman, an all-American college athlete who comes from a family of entrepreneurs. And she saw almost a decade ago that there was a market that was underserved for athletic women's clothing for women like her that wanted something fashionable and yet that spoke to them. And so she created a sportswear company for female athletes, for sports fans just like her, that looked like her, that lived a life like her and she didn't see served. And this company not only became tremendously successful, but it became a beacon for Black business and a springboard for more equal entrepreneurship. Thala has funded programs to teach entrepreneurship in schools in Kansas City and around the region and other organizations so that young people throughout Kansas City can think about entrepreneurship and see it as a pathway for a future of theirs, to create a pathway for a more diverse entrepreneurship and a more just community. Now, community is the third pillar that I want to talk about today, and the role that entrepreneurship plays in it. What is a community? I think that's seems obvious in a way, right? Oh, it's the homes we have, it's the schools, it's where we live, it's the citizens, it's the streets, it's the parks and playgrounds, the hospitals. But what ties them together? It's the people. And often when you think about it, it's the businesses, right? It is the entrepreneurs and the businesses that they create that provide not just products or services, but the fabric of that community. Because it takes the people who live there and it takes their history and their backgrounds and their values, and it builds businesses not only to serve them, but to reflect them. A great example is one of the nominees today, Prairie Elder Care. Michaela and Mandy, the two founders, were a nurse and teacher respectively. And they created Prairie Elder Care for a purpose that was greater than just profit, which is what we think about when we think about entrepreneurship. They created something that was based in their values and the values of the place where they were in. Prairie Elder Care seeks to make the lives of seniors with dementia better through a different type of environment. Rather than a traditional retirement home, it's a purposely designed community that marries agriculture, basically a farm setting, and mental health. So you have, instead of a traditional seniors home, you have gardens. People are able to get their hands dirty. They're able to be outside. The residents are able to work with animals and in nature, and that helps them build a sense of connection with themselves, with the other residents. It helps to fight off the loneliness and stigma of dementia and actually allows them to heal. It's a remarkably innovative idea, and yet, in a way, it's kind of brilliantly simple. And it doesn't just improve the lives of Prairie Elder Care's residents, but it improves the lives of the whole community, their families, their friends, those who know them, the residents around them. Entrepreneurs are what help forge your identity as Kansas Cityans. I think it's obvious when you think about a storied institution, somewhere like McLean's Market, right? A 75-year-old business that's known for its chocolate cake and cookies and pies and all other things that are making me really hungry as I'm thinking about them right now before lunch. Or when you think about a place like J. Rager, a 19th century distillery that was brought back to life by the founder's great-great-great-grandson. I hope my great-great-great-grandson is giving a talk in 100 and something years. But it's also possible with new institutions as well to build that fabric, right? One of the favorite businesses that I saw that's being honored today or nominated is Chicken Pickle. Fantastic name. And I was like, okay, cool. It's a fried chicken restaurant. You always have fried chicken with pickles. But then I started looking at it and I was like, oh, this is roast chicken and pickleball, which if you don't know what pickleball is, it's a sort of miniature game of tennis that's much more fun and sociable than tennis with less ego, kind of like a middle American Wimbledon. And here's the thing about Chicken Pickle. It's more than just a business. I mean, it's very successful. They're opening locations all over the country, but it's a gathering spot for a tribe of pickleball fanatics. It's a home of memories, both current and future, that are going to be built. It's business that was built as a community. It's welcoming and it's fun. And it's the type of place that people are going to remember going to 20 years later. These businesses, your businesses, are what form the fabric of the Kansas City community. Like the city, they're always changing. Neighborhoods evolve, populations shift, new faces come in. A German schnitzel house might become an equally cherished Mexican restaurant with fantastic mole. And as we look around today and we see the businesses that have closed or boarded up, we feel a real sense of loss. When we lose a business that we love in our neighborhood, in our community, it's almost like losing a family member. I want you to stop for a second, go back to the comments. I want you to just name a business that's in your community, whether in the greater Kansas City community or in your neighborhood, that's integral to your life. That's a business that you are so connected to that its loss would be detrimental. Maybe it's a business that recently closed or closed in past years. Maybe it's one that you go to every day and you absolutely love. What is that business and what does it mean to you? The truth is, and this is a hard one to accept, especially for entrepreneurs who are used to being so in charge and so driven and having everything, go, 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 people of action. We cannot change what happens with the virus. We can't change the course of the pandemic individually. We can't change how the greater economy is going to do or how our politicians are going to respond, regardless of who we elect. But each one of you can craft the renewal for Kansas City that you want to see. Each one of you can rebuild it better through your businesses. You can make the economy more prosperous. You can make the economy more just. You can make an economy that's more in tune to the needs of the Kansas City community. By responding directly to the needs of the crisis, like Jay Gager did, distilling sanitizer alongside its whiskey, or by helping out your customers and employees to help them get through this tough time with breaks or loans or forgiveness or just a helping hand. You can do it especially by helping each other, one entrepreneur to another, one small business to another, by lending advice, lending support, materials, or maybe reaching out to an underserved entrepreneur or group of them and bringing them into the chamber, bringing them into this community. Entrepreneurship, at the end of the day, it's not about getting rich or making some crazy invention that lands you on the cover of Business Week. It's about the freedom that you all hold as entrepreneurs and how you choose to use it. I read there a recent report just from last week that American entrepreneurs are now the most hopeful they were since the start of the pandemic, like numbers that are almost equal to February. That's an incredible thing, considering everything that's happening out there, considering what you read every day when you open the news or when you go in the streets. But it doesn't surprise me because as entrepreneurs, you don't choose to go out on your own, to take those risks, to embrace that freedom, to take everything that you know is going to come with that, without waking up every day with the hope that you can make today better than yesterday. How are you going to do that? I'd like to know. And I'd like for you to start a discussion here. Leave your answers in the comments, talk to each other, reach out to another entrepreneur you know, or those within the chamber and discuss it. Come together in person, put a mask on, keep your distance, or online, and figure out how you're going to rebuild a better tomorrow with the freedom and hope that all entrepreneurs rely on every day. Because if you do that, you're going to tap into that fundamental thing that all entrepreneurs have, which is that freedom to build a tomorrow that's better than today. Thank you so much.
Please welcome Kimberly Robinette, Managing Partner of the 2019 Small Business of the Year, Trek Design Group.
Hello. Thanks, David. That was great. It's wonderful to be back at the Small Business Awards today. More than a year ago, Trent and I stood on this stage and accepted the Mr. K Award on behalf of our team at Trek Design Group. That was an amazing day. And honestly, a year later, we're still impacted by this great honor. The Mr. K Award recognition is more than just the celebration and the trophy. It's the validation of all the years of hard work to build your company. To make it to the top 10 is affirmation that you've created something special, something that's recognized by your peers in the Kansas City business community. So I want to personally congratulate all of the businesses being celebrated here today. In a little while, we'll present the Mr. K Award to the 2020 Small Business of the Year. We could not have predicted the wild ride 2020 was going to be, but all of the businesses here today should be proud of themselves for their successful business practices, strong employee relations, and their impact to the Kansas City community. Now let's get to know our finalists a little more. We begin by introducing you to the first two of our top 10 small businesses. First, a company that builds audience-first focused websites, offering original and compelling content. And second, a sportswear company created by a former athlete who wanted women to have more stylish choices. Let's take a look at Amply Media and Cherry Company.
The company's name is Amply Media. We were established in 2016 and we're located here on the Country Club Plaza in Kansas City. So we're a digital media company. We own and operate about 40 different websites across different interest verticals. So we've got sites for news, sports, weather, parenting, and so we produce content and deliver that to our audience every day. We started Amply Media because we were testing a new technology that we found. As you can see all these monitors that we have, we track all of our intraday statistics. We would see our new subscribers just growing every single day, and we were breaking records every day. And so, we were celebrating, and that's when I think we realized this is actually going to work. So we've got a culture of innovation and testing, and so it just drives us to be ahead of the curve. We've had to figure out creative ways to keep people engaged with each other and connected and motivated and energized around the business, because culture is super important to our company. And so we had to figure out a way how we continue to keep that strong culture, even though we can't be here every day, spending time together, eating lunch together. We'll do different types of Zoom happy hours. We hired a company to do a virtual horse race where we had teams to bet on horses and do that kind of thing. Just always trying to come up with creative ways to have fun and keep people engaged with each other. So one of our core values is no drama, no egos, no assholes. That's a big part of it, is that we're a collaborative team. We don't have egos. We're here to win as a team. And so if we start to see some of that, we just address it head on. We're always looking for ways to give our employees opportunities to help the community. New project with some other companies in the city called Together KC. It's going to be really neat. It's going to help the small businesses that are Black owned that have been impacted greatly by COVID. It's going to help them kind of get back on their feet. I think in 5 years, hopefully we've tripled the business by then. We've had over 5,000% growth over the last 3 years. Creating mobile apps, we're working on taking our business model to international markets. Continuing to grow the business and add resources here in Kansas City is really what we're trying to do.
Our business is Cherry Company. We were founded in 2012 and we're a sporty fashion clothing company. We really felt like there was a void in the marketplace around sporty fashion for women. So we knew how much sports and just teams bring people together. And we wanted to have some product that actually demonstrated that, to really connect it to women and really empower women as well. And that's our goal, is really connecting to an experience that make you feel good about who you really are and the possibilities of who you can become even greater. We love to collaborate with professional athletes, but it's also well with local athletes too. One of those is which that we're probably most known for is Patrick Mahomes. We created and designed a sweatshirt for him that he actually did in homage to Lynn Dawson last season, and it's been one of our best sellers. What we love about Cherry is the opportunity to ideate and create something amazing that people will love. We also get to work alongside and collaborate with amazing people and organizations and institutions that we get to really take that vision and their mission and bring it to life. People really are proud to connect and really help to build other people, and we offer those opportunities through a variety of ways. One of them we actually do is called Sweet Incentives, and we select a nonprofit every month, and 10% of our online sales go towards that nonprofit. And we started the Cherry Foundation also in 2012, where 10% of our overall income actually goes to support athletes as well as education initiatives. We hope that we really just have inspired just a generation of young women to be entrepreneurs, and in addition to that, just being their very best and achieving their goals. We really hope that we just leave an incredible legacy. So in the next 5 years, we hope that our name is so known for our contributions to community.
Please welcome our next presenter, Michelle McConnell, Senior Manager, Community Relations at Evergy.
Hello, I'm Michelle McConnell of Evergy, and it is my pleasure to present the 2020 Kansas City Chamber Diverse Small Business Award. At Evergy, we know how important small and especially diverse small businesses are to both the success of our company and to the vitality of the communities that we serve. This year, we're all working to navigate this pandemic. That's why I'm so proud of our company's response. Evergy launched programs that provided more than $2 million in funding to assist over 150 agencies and community partners that are continuing to help all of our customers, especially small businesses. I'm equally proud and honored to be able to announce this special award today. So what is the criteria for this award? This award celebrates a certified minority, woman, veteran, LGBT, or service-disabled veteran-owned company with fewer than 250 employees. Our recipient this year continues to turn heads, break barriers, and support our communities in a variety of ways, not as an add-on, but as a foundational pillar to their business. As the leaders of this business say, they are stronger together, geared for greatness, and always stay on top. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2020 Kansas City Chamber Diverse Small Business Award goes to Cherry. Congratulations.
Thank you, Michelle. What an honor. We are so thankful and so grateful. I just was so touched by David's just expression of just really understanding the struggles and challenges of so many businesses, and knowing that 44% is the actual data number of Black businesses actually did not make it past the 2-month mark for the COVID and all its impacts, and that we're standing and that we have an incredible opportunity to continue to actually impact our community, to just really continue to build on our why. And we're just so thankful and grateful. And we thank you for this incredible honor, and we will cherish it forever in helping to impact the next generation of entrepreneurs through Entrepreneurship KC and the work that we do every day through our business. Thank you so much for this incredible honor.
Pickleball and whiskey. These are central to our next top 10 small businesses. Here are Chicken and Pickle, then J. Rieger and Company.
The name of our business is Chicken and Pickle, and I'm the founder of Chicken and Pickle. I went to Phoenix to see one of my best friends, Dave Watson, and every time I called him in the winter, he was playing pickleball. And I figured out pretty quickly how tremendously social the game was and how easy it is to pick it up. I was able to play pickleball with him within 15 or 20 minutes and have fun. So I said, let's do family entertainment around pickleball. Every high-end concept like that would go to 135th and Metcalf, right? So by doing it in North Kansas City, that was kind of a contrarian play. And I've literally had hundreds of people. I grew up north, and I love north, come up to me and go, I'm just so thrilled that we have this in North Kansas City first. We're one of the few places that I can think of that you can say to yourself as a family, hey, I kind of like to go to a bar and have a drink, but take these young kids with us, right? I mean, most bars are either adults only or not, right? So this is a place with 3 great bars, we think, upstairs, downstairs, the pickleball shack that you could take and your kids can run around and have a ball. This is family entertainment. North Kansas City, God bless them, extremely safe, plenty of parking, sometimes it gets full. So it's safe family entertainment. That's what I want to be involved in. I think the greatest success of Chicken and Pickle is empowering our people to do great things. Not me, not the numbers, is to see people grow into what they are. I'm fortunate enough, I have 3 or 4 other businesses, and I'm doing this for the people, for the community. I get to work with the best people that empower me every day and bring me energy every day. So that's why I'm doing it.
The name of our company is Jacob Rieger and Company as the formal name. It's always gone by J. Rieger & Co. for short. And it was founded by my triple great-grandfather in 1887. And then when it died with Prohibition, that was it. Officially, we restarted the company in 2014. We picked an area of Kansas City that we felt really fit the brand and what we were trying to communicate, did a master development plan for all 60,000 square feet, and really brought back to life not only the historic structure, but the true rich history of the neighborhood, the Heim Brewery, Electric Park. Built a facility that was so welcoming to, really geared towards adults, but not geared around shopping, geared towards more or less this Electric Park, this Disneyland type mentality for adults. We're now going to build a third bar. We're going to do an entire park that we're going to build on the east side of our building that'll be obviously social bar focused. The best thing about working at J. Rieger & Co. is you have all of these beautiful spaces around you to go work. People want to be in the office. We have approximately right now 60 employees, and all but one of them are local to the Kansas City area. Back in February, I was joking around, actually put a bunch of overproof gin in a spray bottle and started disinfecting the slide. When things really happened in mid-March, we actually got a phone call from a nursing home in Kansas City asking us if we could make hand sanitizer. Almost every single person that didn't have health concerns jumped on board and was like, I want to be a part of it. Just being here, being in the same building, experiencing the same thing, because we're all a family. I think we did about 250,000 bottles of hand sanitizer. We were supplying hospitals in New York. Our development afforded us the opportunity to do what we did with hand sanitizer for the community, which in turn defined us as a company. Getting to have a business in Kansas City and get to be directly responsible for making Kansas City better through my business is something that you just can't replace.
Please welcome Jay Kim, the founder and CEO of Data Locker, recipient of the 2019 Weida International Small Business Award.
Thank you. It's an honor to represent Data Locker to present the 2020 Weida International Small Business Award. This award honors a small business that recognizes the importance of entering the international marketplace and succeeds in creating a global footprint for a region. It's now my pleasure to announce the 2020 Weida International Small Business Award goes to Ultratech Aerospace.
Thank you, Jay. Good morning and congratulations to all of today's award winners and participants. This has been a wonderful experience and an honor to be involved alongside so many great Kansas City companies. On behalf of Ultratech and all our employees, we would like to thank the KC Chamber for this opportunity. We are extremely excited to win this award as we take great pride in our international partnerships and being able to represent Kansas City and the Midwest throughout the world. Through this process, we have already developed several new partnerships through the World Trade Center KC and partnered with the University of Missouri's International Trade Center program on an exciting global market research project. All of those things made possible through our participation in this event. So again, a big thank you to the KC Chamber. Finally, I would like to thank all of the employees at Ultratech for their daily commitment and dedication that makes this business successful. I want to thank Karen West for our nomination and her guidance over the last few years. And I would like to thank our ownership, the Cloud family, for their continued support and commitment that has allowed us to grow and succeed. And last but not least, I'd like to thank Doug O'Reilly, our business development manager, for all of his time and efforts in the application, as well as participating in all these events throughout the process. Again, we're honored to receive this award, and thank you very much.
Our next top 10 small businesses are all about great coffee and baked goods. McLean's Bakery and Messenger Coffee Company.
This is McLean's Market and Bakery. We were founded in 1945 by the McLean family. We sell baked goods, cakes, breakfast, lunch items, and then coffee. My sister and I had talked about opening a new bakery and coffee shop here in Kansas City, and we got a random email that the McLean's Bakery is for sale. So we came over and checked it out, and we saw that it had lots of potential, kind of be revitalized what it used to be back in the 60s and 70s. My mom came here growing up. She knew lots of people that got their wedding cakes here, and then my sister actually got her wedding cake here as well, right before we bought it. So we took a chance and bought it on March 17th and opened on the 18th. We opened our Shawnee location on June 12th, which is right in the middle of COVID. We were able to make some kind of changes to where we focused our attention. We added a walk-up window here at this Waldo location. We focused on online ordering and our drive-thrus at our other locations. I think the biggest thing that we couldn't do was have like a big opening party, basically, where we could invite everyone and kind of get some momentum from that. But there's a lot of people from the community, from our other stores, that kind of came over and saw us and got the word out. So it made a big impact for a while, but as soon as kind of May came around, people started coming out again, and we've made all of our losses back from that 6 weeks, and we've been up from year over year. The way we're investing back in McLean's is in our employees. All the money we're making right now is going back into them to create a better place to work so that we can see growth, and then also we'll be implementing profit sharing so that they are working for a common goal. To us, customer service is treating anyone who comes in the door like friends and family. Our purpose statement is making life's moments sweeter. So we want anyone who comes through the door for McLean's to be a bright spot in their day, and so they'll come back.
We are two production companies that produce coffee and bread and pastry. And the founding vision was the idea that there is much more to be had in the industry by tying it to the farmers and the producers, relying on the producers of the product to create quality and for us to be the storytellers and execute on the quality that's there. And on the IBIS side, there was a big hole in the market for French-style sourdough bread and pastry. The visionaries behind that just worked day and night to make sure the product was going to taste great. And then we followed that up with local sourcing and partnership with farms and milling in-house. The mission statement is clearly just based on a respect for the supply chain, a social fairness too, so that we give back quite a bit to our farmers, making sure their infrastructure is strong, can stand up to the environment changes. We have 7 locations. We have 5 brands that we operate in those 7 locations. So we have Messenger Coffee, we have Black Dog Coffee House, Filling Station Coffee Garage, Faveri Bakery, and Ibis Bakery. So they're all kind of part of our family and have their own unique identities. So it's a competitive environment, which is really, really fun. People want to show their skill set. It is an artistry to be able to make a beautiful beverage. And so there's that, I want to get better. I want to spend time in the lab on my own to get better. I actually want to go compete as a professional barista, executing all of these kind of drink ideas or coming up with a new recipe. On the coffee side, we ship to about 22 states from a wholesale perspective, mostly targeting coffee shops, hotels, restaurants, offices, churches. Anybody that wants to use our coffee, we generally say yes. But what we like to really do is back it up with support system. A lot of times someone will call and say, I've never opened a coffee shop, I've never worked in the industry. How do I do it? And so we kind of hold their hand through the entire process, teaching them about making sound menu decisions or bar setup and flow, making sure their electrical and plumbing is up to spec. I love what this place has become and what it means to the city now and what we get to do because of it. So it's pretty special.
Please welcome Heather Rollins, Department Vice President, Individual and Small Group Sales at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City.
I am honored to represent Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City, Blue KC, to present the 2020 KC Chamber Legacy of Kansas City Award. The Legacy of Kansas City Award honors a business that has become a part of our community, having more than 15 years in the business within the Kansas City region. At Blue KC, we know every small business started as a tiny spark, perhaps a kernel of an idea, but always a dream. To do something special, to make a difference, and to help others with a special product or unique services, it takes hard work and determination to make dreams come true. And we know no one can do it alone. And so it's my honor and privilege to announce that this year's recipient of the Legacy of Kansas City Award is BNIM.
Hello. I'm delighted and honored to represent BNIM and all of my colleagues at the firm today. And first of all, I want to thank the Chamber, the Kauffman Foundation, the incredible volunteers that made this decision, and the staff that do such a great job in helping the Chamber deliver such great programs and services to us every year. I think when we were honored a few years ago with the Mr. K Award, it was incredible then too. And I think the committee that made that decision did so based on BNIM's people and our culture. And I think that remains today as our most important asset and allows us to have the impact we have with the clients that we work with, as well as with our volunteer and civic roles across the community. I'm really honored that we're able to do that. And I am, that we are able to continue to help making Kansas City a better place. With our core purpose is we deliver beautiful integrated environments, living environments that inspire change and enhance the human condition. Whenever we're honored in situations like this, we feel a responsibility to kind of raise the bar, to do more. And I think that given all we've heard today about COVID and the impact it's had on the community and the businesses that aren't still successful, as well as the community as a whole, it's an opportunity for companies like ours to help out, to help make Kansas City a better place and help the community at large. Thank you again, and we are very honored with this award. Thank you.
Our next top 10 finalists. First, we'll look at Prairie Elder Care and then Pro Athlete.
We are Prairie Elder Care, and our very first house opened in July of 2014, and we have group homes where we care for people living with dementia. We just really saw a need, particularly in memory care, for people who are living with dementia, to offer something more, not just caring for their basic physical needs, but for providing a life worth living, where they have a feeling of community, where they have a feeling of purpose, and the opportunity to truly be engaged in life. We set out to kind of blaze a trail and to help our elders overcome some of the issues that they live with on a day-to-day basis, loneliness, helplessness, and boredom in particular. During non-COVID times, we do so much with youth. We do a lot with local high schools and sports teams. Our community coordinator has just done an incredible job of building a place for us outside of our walls and building a place for the community to come in. Right now we're on the Prairie Farmstead. 2 of our homes are at this location. Then we have 2 other homes just about 4 or 5 blocks from here. The farmstead in particular has farm animals. We have a couple of goats, a pig, 3 chickens right now. And the animals just provide this really risk-free way for people to connect with each other. They can reset by the koi pond or come feed the animals or kind of, take their minds off whatever it might have been that was causing them distress. And it just really, I think, creates a peace of mind and a sense of well-being that maybe couldn't be accomplished in another way.
Thank you. Thank you.
We're an online retailer of baseball bats, softball bats, and baseball gloves and softball gloves. And we started down off of 64th Street, kind of in the Parkville area, in a little strip center in 1987. And around 1997, Scott Hedrick, our current chairman and majority owner, took the company online. I don't know where the business would be now if it would have just stayed brick and mortar. Just knowing that this business was a pioneer for the internet. Pro Athlete was one of the first companies to do that, one of the first companies to offer free shipping. All those things now seem so trivial, but Pro Athlete was kind of trailblazing back then. We're here to kind of make a difference in the world and show people that you can run a business a different way, still have fun, still make money, but treat your employees, your vendors, your customers, and everybody like royalty, like they should be treated. March 10th or 11th, I think, we made the decision to shut down. There were 4 or 5 people that honestly didn't have anything to do. And instead of letting them go, we said, hey, we'll offer to pay you a reduced salary, but what we want you to do is form a team and donate time, effort, whatever, to charities in Kansas City. We've done a lot of work with the Negro Leagues Museum because they were shut down. We wanted to tell their stories, but when all the social injustice stuff began, we switched from showcasing their stories to educating people, because the museum's a civil rights museum too. So we've got some ideas on how to make the game more appealing to people from all walks of life. We're gonna look back and see how many bats and gloves and apparel we sold someday, but I mean, that's not the story. I would say our success would just be our dedication to blowing people's minds and caring about everybody that we come in contact with. That's the thing I'm most proud about, and to be associated with Pro Athlete, it's just that we care so much about the people that helped us get here, and seeing that every day is the biggest success for me.
Please welcome our next speaker, Eric Wallerman, President of Honeywell Federal Manufacturing and Technology.
Hello, it's a pleasure to be here. Honeywell has the privilege this year of being the CEO sponsor for the Greater Kansas City Chamber of Commerce's Small Business Celebration. Honeywell relies on suppliers nationwide to achieve our national security mission. We are committed to supporting and developing our small business suppliers and will continue to expand on opportunities for small businesses to join our supply base. We have the honor of presenting this year's Emerging Business of the Year Award. The Emerging Business of the Year Award recognizes a company that was built on ideology, values, and the goal to make change through enrichment. The company must demonstrate a high value of entrepreneurial spirit, leadership, perseverance, innovation, and a determination to be successful. They must also be less than 3 years old and show a sense of purpose beyond money. The 2020 Emerging Business of the Year Award is BMG Advisors. Congratulations on behalf of Honeywell. Thank you.
Wow, what an incredible honor. Thank you so much to the Kansas City Chamber for carrying on this great event, even in the strange year of 2020. BMG has had a great year, but we know not all businesses have, and our hearts go out to the entire community. BMG is a true team. We all work together for the common goal of serving our clients well, regardless of geography. I want to thank my team here in this room, and I want to thank my team in Kansas City, as well as our members in New York and South Carolina. Thank you, Adam, Steve, Chase, Gabe, Anissa, Amber, Coretta, and Lily. Your dedication to our team and clients makes what we do here at BMG impactful to those we serve. And that teamwork, that togetherness, reminds us of how we will get through this together. Our motto here is do good by doing good. And frankly, it's so exciting to see the culture that we're creating become our reality in such a short time. But we're not done. We're just getting started. Our commitment to this audience and to this great city, we always will commit to serving anyone who needs financial support and wants to grow and build on their financial dream. As we commit to always being a team that values equity, diversity, and doing our part to make this city a better place for all people. So with that, we want to thank the Chamber, our great and growing team, our families who have supported this growing business, and most importantly, our clients, who allow us to serve them each and every day and help them plan their story. Thank you, guys.
And now our final top 10 small businesses. We present Signal Theory and Traders Insurance.
We are a brand development, marketing, and design firm that really focuses on effective communications for our clients through behavioral and social science. We primarily work in the animal health and foodways industries. So Signal Theory was actually founded as Sullivan, Higdon, and Sink in Wichita, Kansas in 1971. So we've been open in Kansas City for over 20 years. We were doing things differently, and we did what we would tell all of our clients to do, and that is to really look at our brand. I think what makes Signal Theory stand out in the industry is our approach to finding those customer insights. So we're all sending signals of our own based on what we drive, what we wear, what kind of phone we carry. We decided on Signal Theory because we know how important it is when a brand sends a signal to really resonate with the target audience that we're after. We really dig into existing biases that our customers are faced with when they're making decisions to choose our client's brand or competitors. And the way we deliver it is by hiring really smart people. And those are the people that we have working on our clients' business day in and day out, and they bring the vision to life. At Signal Theory, we have about 130 employees split between the Kansas City and Wichita offices. We have a lot of really unique benefits. So we've got Pawternity. When you adopt a new fur baby, we do have a dog policy here at the office, so people bring in their dogs and it just makes it a nice, warm, friendly environment. We can only be as successful as our clients. If their business is successful because of our efforts, we're successful. Having a great place for people to come to work every day, to give back to the community, and to do all of that alongside friends, it is pretty cool. We would be really proud, and I hope we would make Mr. K really proud of what we're doing for Kansas City.
We love claims. It sounds a little counterintuitive for an insurance company to say that, but we look at claims as our opportunity to deliver on our promise of being great at what we do and making a difference in people's lives every day. Traders was established just under 45 years ago by my mom and dad and aunt and uncle. At the time, offered a wide range of insurance products and services. Over the years, as we've rebranded and evolved, we adopted a strategy of the disciplined pursuit of less. What that means is it's not a matter of, how many things you do, but what you do well. So today we're a regional insurance company that specializes in car and renter insurance. We spend a lot of time and effort on our culture. The essence of that is treating people the way you want to be treated. I know we work very, very hard to develop a culture, treat our policyholders, our customers, our claimants with dignity and respect, and make a difference in their lives. Giving back to the community is one of our pillars. Our team experiencing the pride of serving alongside a company and co-workers. My favorite thing about Traders is being around and interacting with the group of people that we put together. I think one of the more satisfying events that happen here is when we announce promotions. Another really exciting one, I think, is when we welcome back employees that have left for one reason or another because they realized Traders was the place that they really wanted to be. That helps reinforce that we're doing the right thing. We do sell car insurance, but we don't think that's our product. Our product is the promises we make in our insurance policies and the delivery on those promises.
Please welcome back the President and CEO of the Greater Kansas City Chamber of Commerce, Joe Reardon.
Thank you very much. It's great. It's been a lot of fun so far, and we're so glad that you're with us. I want to congratulate all of our award winners so far this afternoon. Our small business celebration is one of my favorite events. And I do want to take a moment to acknowledge all the past top 10 alumni who are here in the virtual room that we're dwelling in with us. We've held this small business celebration, believe it or not, for 34 years. And it's been amazing. It's a long enough time that we can see many of our small business top 10s develop into incredible businesses in Kansas City and go on to great success. It just warms our heart at the Chamber to see that happen. And It's going to get even more exciting now because we're excited in just a few moments to add another small business to that prestigious group of Mr. K Award winners. So please join me in welcoming Wendy Gillis of the Kaufman Foundation to present the 2020 Mr. K Small Business of the Year Award.
This has been a wonderful event today. The Kaufman Foundation is always proud to be part of it, but this year it means even more. In what has been the most challenging and surreal year of our lives, these small businesses and so many like them are still here, and they're succeeding. So to these top 10 small businesses, thank you for applying for the Mr. K Award, especially during this difficult year. This year's winner exemplifies the pillars of Mr. K's success and legacy in Kansas City: strong employee relations, sustainable growth, and a commitment to philanthropy and giving back to the greater Kansas City community. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to announce the 2020 Mr. K Small Business of the Year Pro Athlete.
To accept the award, please welcome Andrew Dowis, CEO of Pro Athlete.
Thank you so much. We're so honored, to receive this award. Kind of embarrassed to say this, but during all the preparation for this, I kind of got behind on some of my regular duties. And I know this is weird timing, but I was wondering if you all would be okay if I took a little time to catch up on some of my thank you notes that I've fallen behind on. So bear with me here. Thank you, David Pruente of the KC Chamber of Commerce, for always making sure these events stay on schedule. You somehow found a way, even in this virtual environment, to cut people off in the middle of their speeches. Thank you, KC Chamber staff, for introducing us to this new virtual networking platform. People like me who are terrible chit-chatters were this close to going all of 2020 without having to ask complete strangers, so how's the family? Thank you, Sporting KC, FC Kansas City, the T-Bones, the Royals, and the Chiefs for winning championships in the 2000s. Other organizations in the sports industry in Kansas City like us really appreciate the low expectations the city has for us now. Thank you, Pro Athlete employees, for not quitting when I do things like this to completely embarrass our company. Generating that many fake laughs for one person cannot be easy. So, all joking aside, hopefully that gives you a little glimpse into how we do things here at Pro Athlete. We try to keep things fun at every turn, even during a pandemic. So thanks for bearing with me on that. But in all seriousness, I want to start by thanking David, Laura, Sydney, and Vicky of the KC Chamber of Commerce. Their work in organizing these events for this award during a pandemic has been amazing. Kansas City businesses are lucky to have them on their side. Thank you. I also want to thank all the judges. This is a long process that takes a lot of time and effort, all while juggling their own jobs and families, not to mention how hard of a decision it is to choose between so many amazing companies. Thank you for taking the time to do this very important job for Kansas City. We also want to say congratulations to all the businesses that applied this year, and especially to the other 9 finalists. We're really honored to be mentioned in the same category as you all. It's inspiring to see some of the amazing things these companies are doing. I think it's safe to say that the future of small business in Kansas City is in great hands with businesses like these leading the charge. Thank you for inspiring us all. I want to thank Judy and the late, great Wes Hedrick for taking a leap back in 1987, leaving your day jobs to open Pro Athlete Sporting Goods. The number of lives you've impacted over the past 30 plus years is truly remarkable. We most definitely wouldn't be getting this award without your bravery and the foundation you built. I want to say thank you to our amazing customers, vendors, lenders, and other business partners, and to the over 400 employees who have worked at Pro Athlete over the years, including our current alumni members, Hall of Fame members, and most importantly, to the active employees right now and their family and friends. Our team couldn't do what we do without their support. A special thanks to my wife, Celine, and daughter, Sloan, for being Pro Athlete's biggest cheerleaders and fans, and for putting up with me. Lastly, on the thank you front, I want to thank Scott Hedrick, our chairman. His guts and vision to take his family's business online in the late 90s has led to so many memories for so many people over the years. The Chamber Small Business of the Year Award is in honor of Ewing Kaufman, Mr. K as most knew him. When we decided to apply for this award, it was on the belief that Mr. K would be proud of the work we've done as a company. I believe that Scott embodies all the things that Mr. K believed in terms of giving back to the community, employee relations, entrepreneurship, and growth. His unwavering dedication to putting others first and money second is why so many love working here and why we're able to accept this award today. Thank you for creating a lifetime of memories for so many, and thanks for bringing the guts, Scott. In closing, I just want to say how thankful we are to have our unique approach to business recognized for this award. Making stewardship and blowing people's minds the strategy for your business isn't always the easiest approach, especially during times like these, but it's the most rewarding and the only way we know how to do it. One of our core values says to embrace stewardship, and the quote we have with it is from this guy behind me, the great Jackie Robinson, who said, "A life is not important except in the impact it has on other lives." Knowing that the pro athlete approach to business will forever be entrenched in the history of Kansas City, the business scene, means the most to us. In closing, please, please, please do us a favor. The next time you're in the boardroom, push yourself to say yes to that crazy idea that makes absolutely no sense to the bottom line, but makes total sense for the betterment of your team. Work can and should be fun for all. That means everyone, not just people who look like me, but for people from all walks of life, no matter what color of skin they have, who they love, or what they believe in. Thank you, Kansas City. Stay strong. Better days are coming soon. We're always a resource if any of you need it. Be safe, be kind, and thank you.
Congratulations again to Andrew and the entire Pro Athlete team. Before we close, I'll leave you with one request. Please support our community's small businesses. They're your neighbors, your friends, perhaps even your family, and they need us more than ever. Thanks to everyone for spending the lunch hour with us. Have a great day and a great week.